Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So my name's Katie and today we are doing another recent reads. I'm sure you've been inundated with recent reads, I've been filming so many today. But yes, I like talking about books I've read recently. So yeah, let's just get started. So the first book I'm going to talk about is Leviathan Falls, which is the final book in The Expanse. Which is like, whoa, because it's like a 9-book series that I've read all these books. But I really liked it. I thought it was a really good conclusion. I don't think it was my favourite in the series. I think my favourites are Caliban's War, Nemesis Games, and whatever book 7's called. But I've really enjoyed this like final trilogy, because I would say it's split into kind of 3 trilogies, and I think the themes and stuff in the final trilogy are so interesting. And obviously like the main characters are a lot older and stuff, but I like some of the kind of new characters who are introduced. Teresa in particular I really like. I feel like it's quite a hard book to talk about. You don't want to spoil anything with like being the final book in the series. I do feel like the ending went a little bit over my head. I had to sort of think about it and like work out what happened. But the epilogue I really liked. So I feel like it's maybe a book that I will need to reread. Although we have our readathon, the Expanse readathon, so I will be rereading it. So hopefully it'll make slightly more sense next time. But yeah, I think I gave it like 4 or 4.25 stars. So I definitely recommend The Expanse. It's really like solid sci-fi space opera. Lots of interesting characters, lots of interesting politics. The last trilogy in particular explores kind of when there's like a almost existential, is that the right word? Existential, I don't know, like alien threat facing humanity, how they sort of approach to it, because there's this one character who sort of almost decides to become basically an evil dictator in order to like make sure that humanity is a cohesive whole. So it's quite interesting, some of the kind of themes it explores, and like yeah, it's interesting. I like all the characters. Amos I love. Yeah, I like Holden and Naomi. So yeah, I enjoy the series, so yeah, would recommend. Then next I read The Circus Infinite by Kang Wong. I really enjoyed this one. I think I gave this one like 4.5 stars. This one definitely has like Becky Chambers vibes, which I love. So following the main character, and he like has these powers where he can like manipulate gravity, and he is like in this sort of institute where he's like been captured basically by this evil scientist who's like experimenting on him, but he escapes at the start of the book and runs away and to this other planet and joins the circus there. And there he's sort of involved with the circus and like making friends, and like it's very sort of found family-y, and just him sort of learning to escape his kind of haunted past. Except when he's there, he then gets involved in this with this like crime lord character, and the crime lord is like blackmailing him because he's obviously quite wanted because he's powerful and he's escaped from this like essentially a prison. So yeah, there's all that drama going down, but it's definitely a story of like friendship and like finding your place in the world. I'm not always a big fan of circusy books, but I really like some of the circus elements in this one. I didn't think they were too over the top. I thought they were quite nicely woven in. It made it very atmospheric. Also, I really like the relationship. So it is a Nickelodeon relationship, but the main character is asexual. So it's not really a kind of sexual relationship. It's very sort of, I really liked it actually. It's very kind of supportive. And the love interest, I think he's called Bo, is very kind of understanding and like supportive of his the main character, whose name I can't remember, his kind of wants and wishes, which I really liked. Yeah, I really liked the asexual representation. Sometimes I get a bit frustrated with the asexual representation in books, but this one I thought was done really well. Probably my favourite one I've read. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Although another one, a good representation actually, is later in this video, so we'll get there. Okay, then I read Raylia and Dracora, which are books 2 and 3 in the Arkani series. I don't actually know what the series title is, but the first book is called Arkani, so I just called it the Arkani series. These all have such weird titles, but I really love this series. It's so much fun, and it reminds me a lot of Keeper of the Lost Cities. Although this series, the Arkani series, is the middle YA even, whereas Keeper of the Lost Cities is middle grade. But So this one, the first book, we follow Alex, and she like travels through this portal to this magical world, where she like makes these new friends who is, so I love the friends, and she goes to this like magical school and is discovering her powers, and there's this evil guy who is like trying to convince Alex to like join his side, but he's very sort of Darkling-esque, so he keeps popping up, but it's a lot of fun. And then the second book, there's more sort of school drama. There's these things where they're like going off on this oh, what's it called, it's like this, basically it's like one of the classes that they take is like the spy class and so some of them go off on this mission into like the woods, but then things start going wrong. There's all sorts of like drama going on in school, and then the evil character Eva, he's like on the rise and trying to recruit people to his cause, and so it's very like classic-y YA, but it's just really good. I love Alex, and I love her friendships with the main characters. So the other I would say 3 of her main friends are like Bear, Jordan, who are such a pair of himbos, I love them, and then DC or Dix, who is her like roommate, who was like really like cold towards her initially, but then they like become friends, and I love it. And then also Alex's love interest Caden, who we don't see a lot of, but I do like him. It's a very, I would say Alex and Caden are a very like classic YA ship, but I kind of love it. Yeah, and then Dracora, which is book 3, is interesting because Alex like travels to the past, and basically like sees the origins of Avon, the evil character, like his family and stuff, which yeah, it's funny in hindsight. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. I feel like if I was ranking them so far, I think Arkani is still probably my favourite, and then maybe Dracora, and then Raelia. I don't know, I really like them all though. They're all just so much fun. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the next one. I think the next one is probably going to be my favourite because like they're back in the present time now, but like there's way more drama and stuff, so I don't know, it'll be fun. And yeah, I just really love all the characters and stuff. Okay, then next we have Traitors Moon, which is the 3rd book in the Nightwind series by Lynn Fulling. I really love this one. Still think I gave this one 4 stars, 5 stars even, 5 stars, definitely 5 stars. But I think Stalking Darkness I maybe just like slightly more than this one. I still really love this one. This one they're sort of going. I'd say this one is a bit more almost like high fantasy, epic fantasy-y, because they're basically like Alex, Sergil, Becca, one of the other characters. They're all travelling to this like elven kingdom basically, where Sergil is originally from, and then there's a lot of like court drama there. It's been a while since I read this actually, yeah, but I just remember loving it. I love all the characters. I loved all the like intrigue and mystery, and Sergil as well, because he's been like exiled from his home, so now he's returning under very sort of strict parameters, but that sort of struggle within himself of like, this is his home, but also it's not his home anymore, and it was just very interesting. And I like Alec and Sergil, and they're very supportive of each other. I would say the first 2 books are kind of then like the relationship coming to be, but then in this one they're like together now, so but I really like them, and there's various like drama, and I don't know, I just really like this series, so would highly recommend. Yeah. Okay, then next we have The Last Son and The Hanged Man, which are books 1 and 2 in the tarot sequence. So the Last Son Audible has been pushing on me forever, like it's always recommending it to me. So I finally caved and got it, but it's actually really good, and the audiobook is really good. I really like the narrator. I'm not sure I've read anything by him before or listened to anything narrated by him before, but I really like him. I feel like he just captures the like essence of the book really well. So this one following Rune, who is like the scion of this powerful family. So it's like this world which is like hidden within the normal human world. They're called the Arcana. So they're like magical, and then there's these like 24, like it might not exactly be 24, but some number 22 maybe, like ruling houses, and they're all named after like a tarot thing. So Rune is one of the sons, like S-U-N, not S-O-N, but all his family have died, so he's like the last remaining one. So he was taken in when he was young by this Lord Tower, And he also has his bodyguard. Rune has a bodyguard called Brent, and I love their friendship. It's so good. And like the banter and everything is so funny. And like Brent is like so done with Rune, but it's so good. And then in the book there's this other character who's gone missing called Adam, who's like can't remember what, Lord something, Lady something, one of the other like houses. Their like son called Adam has gone missing, so Rune and Brent go and investigate and try and find out where he's gone. And they find him, and then yeah, the big conspiracy sort of unraveled about why he's been kidnapped and like where he's gone, and Rune and Adam go closer, which is very cute. And then in the second book there is a lot of drama with this character called the Hanged Man, who's like one of the court, but he's very like secluded, like he keeps to himself, and he's kind of a bit evil. And he is like, Rune and the Hangman have like a big falling out basically, and they're trying to kill each other. And anyway, but there's a lot of interesting things going on, and there's a thing that I really love, is like this bay with like ghosts on it. It's like all creepy, and I just really love that. I like all the like main characters and their like friendships and dynamics. And oh yeah, in the first book, Rune and Brent have to take on the like wardship of this character from like the Lovers Court, who he's like a 17-year-old, and he Rune makes a promise to his like dying grandma that Rune will like deliver a package to a destination, and this package turns out to be this boy Matthias, and his destination is his 21st birthday. So then Rune and Brent basically have custody of this teenager that they have to look after, which is hilarious. And then yeah, Adam's younger brother Quinn as well, so they're, and like all together they make this like really great fan family, and like the dynamic between them is really funny. Quinn can like see the future, which is really interesting. And he's like a little bit kooky, but I really like him. I think he definitely deserves the same book. But yeah, I really like all the characters. So I definitely recommend. I think I gave them both 4.5 stars, probably, or maybe 4 stars, but they're both really good. I would highly recommend. And then I read Mort by Terry Pratchett, which this is the first, well, kind of the first Terry Pratchett book I've ever read. I also read Good Omens, but that's like dual authored. So I was excited to read this one. I enjoyed it. I think I gave it like 3.5 stars. So we're following basically Death, who takes on an apprentice called Mort. And Mort is just this like little farm boy, but he like becomes Death's apprentice. And then Mort, Death decides he's gonna have like a holiday basically, and puts Mort in charge. But then Mort like, it all goes disastrously wrong. And meanwhile Death is like trying to mingle amongst the humans and like discovering the secrets to humanity. So I really love Death as a character. He is so funny. I also quite like Mort as well. And then there's this I can't remember what's going on exactly. I think Mort messes everything up because basically he's meant to like reap this princess, but the princess is like so attractive, so Mort doesn't want to kill her, so he like saves her life. And then that's when everything starts going wrong. So yeah, it's really fun. I really like Terry Pratchett's kind of humour and like dry narrative style. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I feel like maybe I gave it 3.75 stars, I think actually. And I should really have my book out where I've written all my star ratings down, but it was chaos this morning. So yeah, so I really like that. I just feel like the plot sometimes got a bit like sort of lost in itself. It just got a bit tangled up, and like things would be happening and it was just all a bit crazy. But so I'm definitely interested in reading more Discworld books. I think there's ones called like The Weird Sisters, which is like about the witches, which I'm quite interested in. I was trying to look up some of them, like which ones I thought I would like. But yeah, so I'm definitely interested in reading more. And then I read Eva Evergreen and the Cursed Witch, which is the sequel to Eva Evergreen, the Semi-Magical Witch. Really enjoyed this one. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. It's really, really cozy, like middle grade. The first book has big like Kiki's Delivery Service vibes, and then this one sort of we're following Eva, and her mum gets cursed, so she's trying to like break the curse and like discover more about herself and her powers, and just yeah, like the friendships, and like Eva's little pet flame fox called Ember is so cute, and just the whole thing is just really like cozy vibes. The kind of Eva trying to like prove herself, because in the world she doesn't have that much magic, when magic is like the thing that gives you status, so she's just trying to prove her worth. And I just really love Eva. She's such a great character. Yeah, I feel like I don't have a lot to say about this, especially because it's a sequel, so I don't want to say too much of the plot, but just if you like middle grade, you'll like this. And if you like sort of like cozy, like it's a cold day and you're like cuddled up on the sofa with a book and like a hot chocolate, I don't know, just gives those vibes. And it just really like the kind of the things I love about middle grade, like the great friendships, the sort of messages that middle grade always has, like the like, yeah, like love always wins type thing. I don't know, I'm just a bit of a sucker for those type of things. So yeah, and like believing in yourself, from this day forward we will believe in the impossible. So yeah, I just really enjoyed this. And like, not as well, I think in this book there's a good thing about like not always judging people on face value. I don't know, I just really like it. So yeah. Then after that, oh, we have the Bayonet Shed, which is probably my favourite book in this video. Probably, yes. So give this one 5 stars, or 4.75, but rounded up to 5. And this one was so good. It's so sort of unique from what I usually read in like fantasy books or sci-fi books. So we're following the main character, like Mistress Charm. She basically runs a brothel. Although I'm not sure brothel is quite the right word, like a courtesan house, I don't know. It's a bit, to me a brothel is like a bit more like less sort of high class, I don't know. But that's essentially what it is. And she is like the favoured like courtesan of the king, but the king dies at the start of the book. But the king says to Charm that he thinks he's been, as he's like on his deathbed, he thinks he's been murdered, so Charm needs to investigate this. So yeah, so then Charm takes it on herself to investigate what's happened. And the king has like either 3 or 4 sons, so Charm is trying to work out like which one of them is most likely to have killed him. But Charm is a very interesting character, and you slowly unravel like more of the mystery of her character throughout the book, because she also refers to this like character called the Lady, who you never really know who she is, but you can almost tell that Charm is like a bit fragmented of a character, because also in this, so in the like brothel, there is various other characters who work there, who are all called, like, they have different names, like I can't exactly remember what they're called, but it's like Desire, Justice, Envy, oh, what's it? Because one of them has a big role in the story. I can't remember her name, but I really liked her arc as well. And it's just really interesting finding out how all these characters sort of came to be, and like all their personalities. Oh, Pain. It's Pain who is the other character who's really interesting. So like just unraveling more about Charm, and then also Pain, who is trying to like forge her own path. Because all these characters are quite codependent on each other, and I think you sort of do figure out quite early on the sort of reason for that, but I think it's really fascinating. And then just the whole sort of vibes and atmosphere of the book. Like, firstly, I love the like political drama of like the kind of who killed the king. It reminds me a lot of The Counselor, like who sort of, there's all these suspects and they're trying to gather them and like work out who's done it. And then Charm, who's not the person you would expect to like be investigating this, is the one who's thrust into doing it. And actually I really like the exploration of like Charm and her sort of the power that, even though women are quite looked down in society, this power that they can hold and the power they can wield, like using their sort of feminine wiles. I really like that. Also I feel like I want more books sort of set in like brothels and like whorehouses type thing now, because I just find it so interesting. And like the dynamic as well between the other characters who work there and Charm is very like tense, and I don't know, it's just also fascinating. And as well the sort of like bony, because there's like bone magic, so Charm can like build oh no, it's not Charm, it's the Lady who can like build people from bones basically, and there's all these like bone trees, it's called the Bayonet Shed. so it's like babies growing on trees, and it's just that kind of almost like slightly spooky, haunting atmosphere I really like. So yeah, I just cannot recommend this enough. There's a certain, if you like a certain type of book, you really like it, but I just can't put my finger on what that kind of book is. I don't know how to explain it. And I feel like if you like sort of For the Wolf and like Wolf and the Woodsman, those kind of books, I feel like maybe it's a little bit similar to the sort of almost fairy tale, like, but it's not really fairy tale. I would just really recommend it. I think even if you're sort of into like more epic fantasy, I think it's just so fascinating, like the politics and stuff, really interesting, and like there's almost like a Frankensteinian element to it, which yeah, I can't recommend it enough. And the writing is like so good, and oh yeah, just highly recommended. Second to last book I'm going to talk about is Wild and Wicked Things by Francesca May. So this one, so I went back and forth on whether I wanted to request an arc of this one, but I thought ultimately I'm going to regret it if I don't. But it is like, I was a bit hesitant because I've heard it was like a Great Gatsby retelling or something, which I wasn't keen on, but then I'd also heard it was sapphic, so I was keen on that. So it was like two wolves inside me having an argument. But I requested it and I read it, and I do really enjoy it. And actually I think it wasn't a Gatsby retelling, which I liked. There were some elements which I would say were similar, so it was probably maybe classed as that, but like the storyline and stuff I would say it was quite different, like it was its own thing. So I like the sort of atmosphere and like the 1920s sort of party elements and like the kind of eat the rich vibes. And one of the main characters, Emmeline, who is like the sort of mysterious, powerful witch who like the main character, I can't remember her name, it might have been Grace, is like very enthralled by. I really liked her, but the other two sort of main characters I did not like. Well, actually the main character, she was okay. She was very sort of passive, and she was like there to narrate the story basically. But then one of the other characters, I think she might have been called Beatrice or something like that, who I think was based on Daisy, and I have a great hatred for Daisy. I did not like her at all. She was just so annoying, and like, why are these other characters in love with her? Like, there is literally nothing about her that is appealing. So I thought it was interesting in that way, and I think I give it 3.75 stars. So I'd say it's pretty solid, but there were just some things about it which I didn't love so much. But then it's also been a while since I read it, so I can't remember it that well. But I would definitely recommend checking out my Goodreads review, because I think I would probably talk about it, my feelings on it a bit better there. Yeah, so I can't remember what I was saying because I just got distracted by Maisie. So yeah, that was that one. So then the final book is Seventh Age by Kate Elliott. So this one I was not expecting to be a novella, but it was. So I think I enjoyed this one for what it was, but I feel like I really wanted it to be longer. So I think I gave it 3.5 stars because I just felt like there was so much that could have been expanded on, and it would have been really fascinating, because I feel like it was a really interesting world, and like the bit of the story that we got was really interesting, but you just didn't have enough sort of time with the characters to really like get to know them or like them. Well, I mean, you like them, but like love them. So following Felison, I think she's called, who's like a lamplighter, and then she gets like recruited by this rebellion or something to try and hunt down like, I can't remember if it's a dragon egg or something, like the heir to this kingdom who turns out to be a dragon or something. So she goes on this little mission with this like crew to try and get this egg. I think it's an egg. Otherwise I'm just completely making stuff up. But so she goes on this mission to get the egg, and then it's like the story of her and like her trying to find a place, and like, and I don't know if I'm getting this confused with another book that I read, but I'm sure she like gets to her like homeland and like realizes that that's where she's like meant to be, and then tries to like rescue the homeland from the clutches of the evil empire. I don't know if I'm just making stuff up now, but yeah, I would recommend it if you're looking for something like interesting that's well written but quite short. But it's like nothing about it stood out as like particularly special or unique to me. I don't know. I feel like Kate Elliott's a good writer, but it just just it needed to be longer. So yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed this video, and definitely let me know in the comments the book you've read recently and what you thought of it, or if you've read any of the books I mentioned in this video and what you thought of them, or if you want to read them. Definitely let me know. I'd really love to chat. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I hope you're all having a really great day, and I'll see you next time.